All right, welcome everybody back to another Boogie Percent race as part of the 2017 EarthBound Super Series. My name is Hunter RNG, and I will be commentating along with Aerofram. I believe that there is some audio issues on his side, so he's going to try back in just a minute. But let's begin. So the first thing you're going to see here is a loud noise came out of the bed, came out of the outside, and we're going to wake up and go figure out what it is. So the first thing we're going to do is go into Tracy's room and equip the cracked bat. And we're going to start to make our way up the hill. So at this point, spawns are off. There's nothing you can get into a fight with. It's just how fast can you get up here, talk to Pokey, and how fast can you get back home. So Vanny's got just the slightest advantage at that point, but that is just the icing on the cake. The rest of the race is about to really start now. There's a knocking on the door. Let's go see who it is. The only thing that has to be on that first walk is they have to talk to Pokey. That is the only requirement. Everything else is optional. So Ness is going to change out of his jammies and get ready for his adventure. We'll go down and talk to Pokey and begin our adventure. We'll see what's outside. So first thing we see, Vanny got a crow and a snake, which is very hard to work with. So he's going to despawn it by going back in the house. Malladroid got just a snake, which you can stutter step. So he got around that without too much issue. Vanny got into a fight with a runaway dog, but that is the preferred thing to get in a fight with. You will get a level up, and he's actually the least vicious of the three. So that was the best of the enemy fights he could get into. Vanny getting through that fight without too much issue. Malladroid showing some more stuttering through snakes as he goes up the hill, but he's going to have some trouble with that dog. He's just going to take the fight. Vanny choosing to despawn the snake instead of trying to stutter step it. It's a very tight area right there. And also Malladroid not having too much issue with the dogfight either. So they are both at level 2 now. Oh, and Vanny gets red swirled by a crow. That's going to be a pretty harsh fight. They have 77 speed, so he's got to take the fight. He cannot run away from that. Malladroid finishes his walk up, and he will talk to Picky. Oh, there he goes. Vanny's going to despawn this dog from the left, and that way he will be able to get through without having to take another fight. Also despawning the snake. So now Vanny is through. He's going to be able to talk to Pokey. So at this point, the spawns are turned off. So this is pretty much a free walk back. They'll probably stop for a bread roll along the way. Oh no, Malladroid is deciding to go against it. Unless he picked it up before, I didn't notice. But yeah, so there are no enemies here. You can walk however you like until we get back to our houses. But we are stopped by Starman Jr., the first boss fight. However, it's pretty much impossible to lose this way. Only way you could is if you leveled up a lot and got a shield alpha, and then use that to replace Buzz's shield. But the way it is all these attacks will just get negated by Buzz.
And getting there takes quite a lot of effort. I'm back, Hunter, by the way.
Welcome back, Aerofram. How you doing?
Pretty good. It looks like we got a pretty close race here, at least to start off with. Not much variance in the movement.
What you're looking for here is Buzz charging forward, so that's good on Malladroid's side. I think he got a 2-cycle, so that's really good for him. Let's see what we get on Vanny's side. Oh, another charge forward, so they're both getting good luck right now. And after you defeat Starman, you return Pokey and Picky, and their parents have some choice words for you.
Now, depending on what version of the game you're playing, if you're playing the Mother 2 version, they're not such choice words, but more like physical actions on someone's behind.
And again, you got another wall of text from Buzz to talk through. So you need to say yes to his first question and no to the second. So it's very important that you mash not only fast, but the correct buttons as you go through this text.
When you're playing casually for the first time, it is really easy by this point to just keep on mashing through like, come on, I'm be done talking and you're looping through the same wall of text over and over because you're not paying attention. Funny enough, even knowing between the yes and no, I was playing Mother 2 for the first time, and I got myself stuck in the wrong loop there, pressing no and yes for the wrong questions.
Man, even in Japanese, this text is longer than I thought it would be.
I'm like, come on, this is the right answer, isn't it? Oh.
Malladroid had a few good despawns there. He's heading over to this hidden house where he will be picking up the Mr. Baseball cap. He'll equip it, but the overall goal with the Mr. Baseball cap is to sell it for money and get more defensive items that you can get better defense out of.
The difference between the baseball cap that they'll be trading it off for and Mr. Baseball cap is only 1 point of defense, but the head is worth like $99, allowing you to buy the copper bracelet this early, getting you a net more of much more defense than you would with just the baseball cap.
So here we'll buy the T-ball bat, the Mr. Baseball cap, the regular baseball cap, sell the Mr. Baseball cap, and buy the copper cheap bracelet. Sorry. So Malladroid's making a beeline for the hospital. That's to create a despawn, get around a spawn plate for the sharks. I'll probably talk to this first one here in hopes of getting a quick level up and a hamburger.
This fight here in front of the arcade isn't necessarily mandatory, but is really a best practice too, because it sets up your experience well for a level up right after Frank, so you're ready for Mr. Frankenstein Mark II.
Looks like Vanny chose to go a little bit safer and go get a bag of fries as an extra healing item for the next boss fight.
That's interesting. That isn't something I've considered before, going for a bag of fries there.
Malladroid making quick work of the 3 sharks that he fought, so he will take on Frank. He wisely made sure he had full HP before fighting Frank, because Frank's got a few different options, and the hardest hit will take away half your HP immediately.
With the way Frank deals damage to you in this fight, no matter what amount of damage you take, whether it's the small or the large hit, you definitely want to be healing every time you get hit. Otherwise, you may risk ending up dead.
All right, Malladroid gets through Frank pretty well. He'll go to Frankenstein now. Frankenstein wastes every other turn, every odd-numbered turn, so it's kind of semi-scripted. You kind of know what to expect and how to react to it.
Every even turn will be the attack, and on the first one will always be a punch. After that, on 4, 6, 8, it will be a coin flip, whether it's going to be between a light attack or tearing into you for a heavy attack, dealing a large amount of damage.
All right, Malladroid makes it through Frankenstein. First actual set of bosses you can die to. Ooh, and Vanny with a lucky smash on Frank.
Malladroid here will be going back up to see Frank, because once you go back into the arcade and leave the fight scene, Frank becomes a good guy and you're able to heal them. Not many people know that because you talk to him right after the fight and he just goes in the same text loop, "You're much stronger, go away now." But he becomes a heal spot you can use for free compared to the hotel.
And Vanny making it through the Frankenstein fight. Good fight for both these guys. That's a very common death plate, so good to see them get through on their first try.
Still a pretty close race right now. It's still anyone's game.
Yep, so now they have to get the key to the shack and head to the first sanctuary, Giant Step. At that point, they will be grinding on some slugs. The typical number you're looking for is 22 slugs. That will get you to level 8, and Ness learns his PSI Rockin'. But first, we're going to make a stop to withdraw some money and get some hamburgers.
Ideally here, both runners will withdraw enough hamburgers to fill up their inventory, and then they're hoping to make it last through the end of Onet here. Whether or not it'll make it that far will depend on how nice the enemies are in Giant Step.
There's a possible text skip on this door. It should say the door is locked, but it looks like Malladroid's going to try and skip it. Yeah, if you go from the side, slide off of the trees there, you can get around that text skip. So Malladroid will be starting his slug right now. Oh, very lucky, getting a 4-pack right off the start. Oh, excuse me, a 3-pack. All right, well that may throw a wrench in his plans for his count.
I wonder if this will lead to Malladroid choosing later on to take additional 4-packs depending on how his count goes after this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I know. Oh wait, the 4th one's there. He's going back for it. Excellent. He's got 4 now. Sometimes with the way EarthBound spawns enemies, sometimes the pairing gets a little odd. There were 4 there, but they just didn't see each other as one group. But he's still on normal strategies, so he's good. Looks like Vanny got the tech skip as well, so both runners knowing about that and using that to their advantage.
Oh, a 2-pack here. Now, there are a couple different approaches every runner could take into this slug grind. 2 of the most common methods are, the first one being you take 4 packs of slugs on the bottom floor, all the ways up until you hit level 8 where you get rocking. You end up with a little bit of extra experience, and it may take a little longer, but it's generally safer that way. The other option is to go up to the 3rd floor and get into an encounter with a 6-pack of slugs after you have done 4 packs down on the floors below.
Both runners choosing different ways to spawn the enemies on the 1st floor as well. Vanny going through the cave, entering and re-entering the main room, and Malladroid just going left and right. I believe this makes 14 for Malladroid and 4 for Vanny, so I don't know if Malladroid's planning on 2 more 4-packs or if he's got another trick up his sleeve. Vanny's still got a few more 4-packs before he would want to start moving himself.
Rithium was mentioning this in the chat here, but there's also an option. Once you hit the 12 on the bottom floors, you could try to make a 4-pack spawn on the second floor and the middle floor and try to make the most progressive route possible, although you do risk running into antoids on the second floor, which look exactly like the slugs.
Malladroid finding a single slug, further adding to his confusion on how he wants to do this. Even though Vanny was using auto fight, Vanny just got put to sleep. But even though he was using auto fight, the game said he should go ahead and life up because he reached a certain HP threshold. And the game was like, hey, you don't want to go any lower, so let's go ahead and auto life up for you.
Malladroid here has now reached level 8, gaining the PSI rocking ability, so that'll finish off the slug grind for him. So now Malladroid's going to make his way up to the boss, and we'll see Titanic Ant.
I believe he's gonna probably check his stats here in a minute, because once you get level 8, you have an offense chance of going like 23, 24, 25, or 26. And at 24, you can one-shot ants in the second part of the cave. So that's very important to us that we get at least 24 offense. I think he'll be checking for that when he gets up here.
Very nice stuttering by Malladroid there, making the way past the packs.
And he's got 24 offense, so he knows he can take one slug and get an auto instant win. By the way, at this point, all the fights, all the things that look like they could be slugs are definitely ants at the second part of the cave. So Malladroid is going to take on Titanic Ant. He's got 235 HP. We're hoping to do 2 rockets quickly and then bash out the rest. So that was 60 HP. It was a little low. Malladroid is going to use the hamburger to get up to close to max HP and fire off the second. 82 was a better roll. I think he's looking for life up there. And so now it's bash and burgers.
Just like the Frank fight, you're going to need to be careful when going up against Titanic Ant. Any type of damage from your full health, especially at level 8, can put you within death's range if ants were to get off a smash attack. Then you're praying to get through your mashing quick enough to life up if you can.
Alright, Titanic Ant's down. That is a very solid time, so Malladroid's making good work of Giant Step. And he'll go out here and collect his first sanctuary.
Unfortunately, it looks like Vanny's having a little bit of a rough time with the slug grind here, getting what's needed to progress on forward. But Malladroid's not free and clear yet. He still has to get past the Onet Cop Force.
At this point in Giant Step for Malladroid, all the enemies are going to run from him, so he doesn't have to worry about either stuttering or just getting around any of the enemies. They will gladly get out of his way now that he's taken out their fearless leader.
I'll be curious if Malladroid's going to go burger shopping to fill up the rest of the inventory. Malladroid has about 5 burgers right now, which can be enough to get through cops as long as everything goes right. So I'll be curious on what Malladroid decides.
All right, and Vanny's up to level 8 now, so he'll begin his walk up to Titanic Ant. Checking his status. Oh no, he's got offense of 23, so he's going to either have to stutter the rest of this or be very careful with despawning. Malladroid choosing to go back into the burger shop and buy a couple more burgers. That stutter is going to be really hard for Vanny. He's got to also watch his HP, but the more enemies are on screen, the more lag you get. So yeah, that was a very risky move right there, and unfortunately now he's got a 6-pack he's got to deal with. Luckily with level 8 though, you can just rock-in them all. He's got enough psychic points to do that, and that's what he's going to do.
And with the butterfly right outside, it's a very easy recovery for the psychic points.
Malladroid's gotten his first cop down. With the cops, they have a simple attack, which will hurt you for about 15, or a crushing chop, which will hurt you for about 30. And basically, if you're under about 55 or 30 HP, or excuse me, 55 to 60 HP, you're probably going to want to heal.
When you're at the 55 range, typically you're going to be choosing to do a burger. Once you get down to around 30, you kind of want to do life up in case there's a chop and get the full life up benefit there.
So Vanny's in the second part of the cave where Malladroid was able to just take the fights head on with 24 offense. Vanny's going to have to stutter around all of them. Good stuttering so far, though. Very good stuttering by Vanny. So he's just got the Titanic Ant and he'll be through this area. Ant opening up with a very hard hit against Vanny, so he's definitely going to have to heal his second turn. Malladroid's going up against Captain Strong now, which is the final boss in Onet. Captain Strong has 140 HP, so yes, he's got over 20 psychic points. He's going to be doing 2 rock-ins and hoping that that hits 140. That was a very solid hit, 110 the first time. And that's going to do it. So Malladroid is out of Onet under 30 minutes. Great job.
Under 30 minutes is a very strong pace to be leaving Onet from.
The Titanic Ant can put up a shield, which cuts your damage done to him in half. So Vanny was having to deal with that for a bit. He just got through it. Oh, and Ant throws it back on. So that's another 3 turns of shield unless we get a smash. And Vanny makes it through the Ant fight. Excellent. So Malladroid picks up another burger, and he will make his way to Tucson. Oh, he saw that ninja shroom on the left side and knew that it would get him. So smart play right there, going back and despawning it. So Malladroid is going to be withdrawing a bunch of money and saving right here. So that's going to set up for a future death warp, which we will use later. Getting out of Peaceful Rest Valley without having to walk back out. Malladroid's making a beeline for the Apple Kid, which will give you the next item to get through the next area, but he requires some money and some food first. So. Looks like Vanny will be picking up a few extra burgers for the cops and Strong as well. That's a good safety strat there. So not too much going on Malladroid's side. You just got to look out for these green plants. They're called mobile sprouts. If you see one and you can't despawn it, you just got to go back through the cave to the other side.
That cave area is one of the ones you're hoping for clear spawn rooms, because if you have to transition in and out between the overworld and the underground there, you're losing 5 seconds per screen transition there as the game loads up the sounds and the map for each time you're doing that.
Ooh, Vanny with a lucky first round smash against Cop 1. So yeah, Malladroid walked up here, and he's already walking back without seemingly seeing anything. There is a pencil in the way later, and we know that once we hit a certain vertical pixel, that we have loaded that pencil into memory, and we can go ahead and go back and go bug Apple Kid to help us get rid of it.
Malladroid's now getting a convenient plot phone call here from Applecade saying, go see him as soon as possible. And what do you know it's going to be? A pencil eraser to take care of that pencil that's in the way.
Also, I haven't noticed if he's picked up any butterflies yet, but he should be looking for 2 butterflies here to revive all his psychic points. And there's a lot of spawn plates along the way through PRV that he can find some, and that will save him time over like going to a hotel or back to his house or anything like that.
Having those extra psychic points will also give him a buffer space to use rocking against a couple of the enemies, because there's a few that you aren't able to run away from turn 1 because they just outspeed you every time.
All right, Vanny's going up against Strong. He's got enough psychic points, but he's going to have to heal first because Strong will do that. He will do a 40-some HP mortal attack right there. So now that his HP is high enough, he's going to begin his 2 Rockins. 75. He's looking for at least 65 on the second turn. And he got it. Strong is down. Way to go, Vanny, and getting out of there, I believe, with no deaths. So good job, both of you guys.
A deathless Onet is something always to be happy about.
Yeah, Malladroid doesn't have any psychic points, so he's definitely looking for 2 butterflies along the way here. And there's one.
At this PRV with that low of HP points before healing up, it can be quite deadly with any encounter that you may hit here. A couple of the enemies you may end up encountering are the UFOs, whirling robos, sprouts, and trees that chase after you.
Malladroid found a second butterfly, but it was stuck in the edge of the cliff there. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to get it, and he has to just continue on without it.
That is such a trolley spawn point for that butterfly. With the trees and the UFOs, you're able to outpace them. Trees you can outrun no matter what, as long as you're not close to them. UFOs, if you're moving straight up and down vertically, your movement speed will outspeed them. But the moment you're on a horizontal axis with them, forget about it, because they will swing right into you. Whirling robos and sprouts, on the other hand, are pretty good at chasing you down in PRV.
Vanny holds off on the eating the bread roll earlier in the game, so he was able to give that to the Apple Kid. Malladroid just barely getting by that tree, making it out of PRV.
Great example there of how you can outwalk the tree.
So once you're in Happy Happy Village, you're gonna make your way to the store and buy a Sandlot bat and the Holmes hat, and you'll trade in your old stuff. We'll see if he buys anything in addition to that.
Runners here can make a conscious decision to purchase croissants if they happen to run out of burgers during the Onet Cop fight or get in a sticky situation in PRV.
Yeah, and croissants give you just a little bit more back per item, where I think hamburgers is supposed to be around 50 and croissants are around 60. So depending on how much HP you're going to want back per round, that's also helpful.
Yeah, that is correct. One of the funny things with the items in Earthbound is there's a little bit of randomness to them as well. You'll notice during the cop fight they're healing for widely varying amounts. So there's a little bit of a luck roll that goes into determining the amount of HP you heal when using a healing item.
So in the Earthbound community, this is known as the Shack Fight. It's very dreaded. For non-manip, your goal is just to do enough rockins to get down to one enemy. And of course, it doesn't work on one cultist, but he gets enough to kill the other two. So he might. Nah, he's just going to go ahead and rock and make sure, especially with that call. That was a good call on his end. Getting very lucky with the rolls to one-shot them the second time. So he's through the Shack Fight now.
Depending on what the next mandatory cultist fight brings up, Malladroid could end up in a little bit of a sticky situation if it doesn't go well with the low psychic points. It's a little bit of a risk we usually bear in the runs, depending on where we're at.
Yeah, now you make your way through this maze. All these cultists, there's certain ones that will talk to you and they'll move out of the way. You gotta figure out which ones they are.
Malladroid choosing to go with the bash it out, since there's only one cultist on the screen. You can choose to bash it out, but the moment a second one joins and there's two on screen, you almost have to rock in it to clear out the screen quick enough and not die. Malladroid also picked up the large HP boost during the level up sequence here, so Malladroid will not be seeing that after the car painter fight, which could set Malladroid up for a better death warp after the fight, depending on how well it goes.
Yeah, so in the game you get a Franklin badge which reflects lightning. So you actually do want Car Painter to hit you with the lightning in this game. Unfortunately, he is 0 for 4 right now. The odds are 1 in 4 each lightning. So a little behind the odds at the moment. We'll see if we can't catch up.
As you gain party members, the percentage for lightning hitting your party goes up by 25%. So by the time you have 4 party members, it's a 100% chance to hit your party.
Malladroid having a good fight and also only has 16 HP, so that's going to do a great setup for the Death Warp, which we are now going to... Once we get Paula, we're going to Death Warp back to Tucson. Vanny coming up here to erase the pencil. Now he's got to deal with PRV. Vanny was taking it pretty slow there to make sure he could see everything and turn around as fast as he could, because a pincer could happen really quick, like almost what you saw just there. you see Malladroid getting rid of the teddy bear. He'll get rid of the Holmes hat and the cheap bracelet. That's just to get rid of all the extra defense on Ness, and teddy bear can take hits for you, so it's getting rid of that chance as well. Make this death warp as quick as possible.
With the amount of damage that the rest of the enemies that Ness and Paula will be seeing throughout the run, which is ideally for them just Boogie Tent, the defensive items there would not provide much assistance anymore, so there's really no reason to keep it.
So, as you saw there, the mole often will do things other than attack you, which is very much a bad thing in a speed run. We're hoping that he just instantly kills both of us, but that's not always the case. That's just chalked up to RNG.
I think personally, I lost about 3 minutes to the mole playing rough here, just being absent-minded and confusing itself. It could go on for quite a while, the wasted turns.
Yeah, regardless of how much HP you have, you really don't know how well it's going to go until after it's done. I think Malladroid had a pretty good one, in my opinion, so now he's off to revive Paula and do the required plot advancement in Tucson. Vanny getting ready to start the shack fight here. Let's see how it goes for him. The cultists here have 94 HP, so that's always a number I'm looking for with the Rockins. I don't expect it on the one turn, but that's always what I'm looking for. The run's probably got another 20 to 30 minutes in it, so you're just past halfway at this point.
There are still a couple of spots where Malladroid could get hung up and Vanny would have a chance to catch up to Malladroid.
Vanny doing a good choice with that shack fight because neither cultist died. Just going ahead and get a second rockin' and getting them out of there.
I see a question there about the origin about Boogie Percent. It's a shorter category, average about hour 15, hour 20 minutes, and it's a good way to show off about a quarter of the game while keeping it fairly quick and show off a lot of the tech that goes with the game.
Yeah, definitely. Most of the techniques we use throughout the game are displayed in the first quarter, so it's a great race category, that it makes it a less than 4, 5, 6 hour race for some people. Also, Car Painter is a scripted fight, so on the first turn, and then every third turn after that will be lightning, and then on the third turn, and every third turn after that will be an attack. Turn 2 will be a heal, turn 5 will be a shield, so as a runner, you're kind of counting turns and figure out how much HP you need and where you are, whether or not you got a chance for the lightning attack after that.
By the time Car Painter uses his shield, you want to be able to have gotten off all of your rocking attacks that you're planning on launching. Malladroid here at the Runaway 5 show. Now, Hunter, I asked Uko yesterday what was preferred, the Tanzura brothers in all sleek black or the Runaway 5 in their various colors. Which one do you prefer?
Can I give you a two-part answer?
Go for it.
I like the Tanzura brothers on stage, but the Runaway 5 like out and about helping you throughout the game. They need two outfits. They need to be in color, on the street, and then in all the slick black suits on stage.
Interesting. I'm still a personal fan of the colored suits to show a different personality out there.
So Everdread gave Ness a bunch of money on Malladroid's side, and he's going to use it to pay off the debt for the Runaway 5 so they can move on to the next town and hopefully get a better contract. Malladroid doing a very slick, optimized movement there to get above the street post.
A while back, it was a big debate in the EarthBound community: left side bus or right side bus, which one's shorter, which one quicker, or the third option, which isn't really an option, go through the photo trigger.
Yeah, they do a weird movement outside the door to avoid a photo trigger right there. Photos take almost 20 seconds, so if you just take a second to move around it, you're saving a bunch of time. Unfortunately, I didn't see how much HP Vanny's got, but there are a few different Death Warp options. We'll see which one he goes with. He's going to go with the mole. So now he's going to drop his items and drop the teddy bear and get red swirled by the mole.
The other options for the Death Warp being you can go further into the cave, stutter past the mole and try to get to a bear, which is pretty far in, or you can go out to Peaceful Rest Valley and get into an encounter over there, and it's a little more stable out in Peaceful Rest Valley versus the randomness of the mole. In the tunnel that Malladroid just went through, there were ghosts, part of the scripted event, but you can encounter them in the graveyard coming up.
I lost turn count, but I think Vanny and Malladroid had pretty equal mole Death Warps. I'd say slightly above average, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Vanny had about 2 or 3 turns that were just a little bit quicker than Malladroid's.
So you go up in the graveyard on Malladroid's side and you get the attention of those 2 zombies. That's all you have to do there. Then you head back to the hotel. And who's this fine woman? Oh yeah, Rithium mentioning that there's another option for the Death Warp where you pick up the life noodles in PRV, and that way you don't have to go to the hospital. You Death Warp and immediately use the item on Paula and she gets revived. So Malladroid's thrown in a prison cell from this lovely woman and her dogs and zombies.
Yeah, adding to that life noodle strat, if you make the conscious decision before you even go over to PRV, you can choose to save at the bus stop and save the trip all the ways down to Polestar Preschool and cut out a good length of journey in the second time you're in Tucson. All
right, so Malladroid's going to Winters, and that is where Airfram, it's the best character, right? Best?
Jeff!
Okay, the best character in the game, Jeff.
I can feel the anger rising from some members in the audience. it's a bit of a heated topic on the value Jeff brings to the party.
All right, I'm seeing some pro Jeff fans in the audience. That's good to see. So you're going to talk to this guy. He's going to give you the key to some lockers, and that way you will get some items, hopefully, and make your way out. But the key doesn't work, so we're going to go back and complain that this stupid key you just gave us doesn't work, man.
You know, I still have an issue with this. If you know the key isn't going to work, why give it to Jeff in the first place? Sure, for game purposes, it's mandatory training for the bad key machine that was just received. But if you know the key is bad, why give it out?
Upperclassmen, man. Oh, malladroid got rid of the item that you can repair later because it's not necessary in this game, in this category. But unfortunately, his muscle memory said to move over one item, so he lost just a few seconds there. Nothing too bad. Vanny watching the Runaway 5 now. So even though Jeff is the best character, pick up the Bubble Monkey, which is the worst character in the game, because Bubble Monkey lags behind you at all the wrong times. So if you're trying to get around an enemy, yep, just like that, he'll get stuck and really ruin your day.
Now, depending on where Bubble Monkey stops, you sometimes can use that to your advantage to green swirl enemies in this upper section here. But against two goats, you definitely do not want to be trying that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Malladroid was pincered there on the left and the right. He could have gone back up to get rid of him, but it would have been a big time loss still. Unfortunately, Malladroid's taking a death here. I don't think that actually really affects anything other than time, right?
No, not at all. You only have $1 at that point, so there's no effect other than just being set back to the gate.
Let's see what he gets the second time. A dog is much more manageable, even if he has to take the fight. Yep, looks like he's going to. Oh, he got the green swirl. It's a head-on green swirl. Don't ask me how. Jeff can beat those goats. I think Malladroid just had bad RNG where the goat constantly did his high-powered attack. But yeah, those are definitely beatable in normal runs.
I believe casually you want to be around level 3, 4, 5. I can't remember. It's been a while since I did it. Just because the goat can kill you in 2 to 3 turns. Those extra levels really do play a lot in giving you enough HP and additional attack to take it down with the gun. Now, Malladroid taking the dogfight can actually play in Malladroid's favor because now he has additional experience and HP for the upcoming Protoplasm fight, and it's I believe it's a 1 in 4 drop to get the bread roll from the dog, which is an additional healing item.
So now we get to see everyone's favorite character, Tessie. Tessie's going to take us across the lake, and typically an elite time to beat is being here before 1 hour, so Malladroid's on a very good pace right now. Vanny just got off the bus at Threed, and he's going to make his way to the graveyard. Let's see how RNG spawns do for him. Oh, we got Tessie in the chat now. That's awesome. With a FFZ emote.
Let's see those MS Paint Beasts.
Unfortunately, Vanny took a fight here. You're probably going to want to... Oh, good. He does have psychic points, so a Rockin' is going to be very helpful here. Unfortunately, Paula just died, but she is not necessary for this point, so there's no need to heal her at this moment.
If Paula was alive and Vanny makes it through the fight, Vanny would be able to possibly employ what I like to affectionately call fire strats, which allows Paula to use fire instead of freeze on Boogie Tent.
Yeah, Ness with the gut save on Vanny's side. As long as he doesn't get in any other fights, that gut save is going to save him quite a bit of time.
That line of pixels Vanny was walking right above the tombstones avoids the spawn plates and avoids triggering spawns, at least up until above the tree line there when you're swinging up to go see the zombies.
Malladroid getting into one of the hardest fights in the game because the game expects you to have leveled up more than we did. The worthless protoplasm. And the protoplasm can call for help, and so we're fighting the second one now that he called in. Luckily, he made it out with 2 HP left.
There are a couple different strategies you can employ, especially if the second protoplasm shows up. Some runners choose to defend to try and outlast the attacks to about turn 5 or 6 and try to run away.
Yeah, in this game, the run mechanic is based on the enemy's speed and your speed. So it is the enemy's speed minus your speed, and then add 10% chance for every turn, regardless of whether or not you're running. You come in with 2 speed, protoplasms have 17. So if you do the math, the first turn, you have negative 15% chance to run.
Malladroid there got the duck skip, which saves a bit of time, and almost got the second protoplasm skip, except for the fact everyone's favorite friend Bubble Monkey stopped and decided to look at the ground or the sky or saw something moving.
Bubble Monkey! So now Malladroid is in what we call Pawn Cave. It's a 3-room section with enemies that you're either going to try and stutter around or just straight up despawn. You don't want to mess with any of these guys. They could ruin your day really quick. Malladroid choosing the despawn route at the moment. We'll see if that changes as he gets further into the cave.
I have seen various runners employ attacking a single slug. You'll see that the slugs have returned here, and there's no antoids here, so you know it's a slug every time. And with a single one, Jeff can instantly win against the fight. And it looks like Malladroid just did one as well. Malladroid having a fairly quick second room there. Vanny now is going to spend the $1 to pick up the pack of bubble gum to get everyone's friend Bubble Monkey, and start his winter sequence as well. And with that, Malladroid gets to say goodbye to Bubble Monkey. Bubble Monkey sees Girl Monkey and follows her off. And we'll be entering the Skyrunner sequence after talking to Jeff's dad, Dr. Ann Donuts. And comes up one of my personal favorite music tracks of the area, the Skyrunner. Vanny also choosing to go above the last tent there. There is a photo trigger below that last tent, and as long as you stay along the very top pixel when going underneath the tent there, you're able to avoid the photo trigger. Otherwise, a safer trick would be to go up and around like both runners did to avoid taking a time loss if your path gets blocked or you accidentally push down on the controller there. Vanny here will now be preparing to face the first protoplasm here, making the way to the Brick Road dungeon. Now you'll notice here that both runners had made a diagonal movement down to the wall and then cut back diagonally to the tree line instead of walking straight down. In those group of trees is a 100% spawn plate, which will spawn a gruff goat. By walking in that diagonal pattern, the runners are able to avoid triggering that spawn plate and able to walk through without an encounter. Vanny having a very clean first protoplasm fight, and Jeff getting ready to join Malladroid's party here. You could say no to Jeff joining your party, and he'll be like, "Did you just call me here to make fun of me? Why did you do this?" And then ask us again until you let him join the party. Here with that locked door, there was that foreshadowing of the mandatory training sequence back in Winters. You're able to do a text skip again by stopping just short of the door and then using the item to unlock it. In preparation for the final encounter with Boogie Tent, Malladroid picked up a teddy bear, which would hopefully 75% of the time take an attack from Boogie Tent or other enemies. But more often than not, it seems like that 25% is a higher chance. Malladroid choosing to use Defend, Big Bottle Rocket to ensure that the Bottle rocket gets off, and Jeff pulled through and killed him with one single bottle rocket. No other attacks needed. So it looks like this round is going to Malladroid.
Oh, I just made it back in time for that. Congrats, Malladroid. Sorry, guys. I'm on the outskirts of Irma, and it's been pretty calm so far today, but I did just get a power flicker just then.
In total against Boogie Tent, you're looking to do around 579 HP with the bottle rocket, freeze, and a combination of rocking. Boogie has a couple of different attacks, bashing, using the French spray, fly honey, emitting a pale light, bash, and flash alpha. And that is the race for Malladroid.
Getting a 110 is a very solid time. Congrats, Malladroid. That's almost a PB for him, but not quite. Almost.
The official SRL time for Malladroid is 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 11 seconds. Vanny here making his way through the second portion of Pond Cave, hoping to clear out the spawns in the third part of that cave there. Mushrooms, unfortunately, being an enemy that is unstutterable, and if they're close enough at any point, they will chase after you, unlike the slugs, which follow you based on your movement.
Vanny getting a little close to that cave boy, but that's another enemy you can outrun. So he is going to make the way into his dad's lab.
Some good movement using Stonehenge to trap the cave boy as well.
No, actually, Ness has to be in your party and alive to fight any of your sanctuary locations. So that one that Jeff passes, if he tried to talk to it, it would basically say, come back with Ness.
Now, I had mentioned this earlier, Hunter, but I think you had dropped off for a little bit there. The Skyrunner sequence here is one of my personal favorite music tracks. What's one of your personal favorites from the game?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Let me think. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Threed Afterbelch and of Foresight. I like both of them a lot. Oh, and Winters and Tessie. Can't forget those two. Those are excellent ones as well.
I also like the moon side. It's just wacky. Hear a little bit of the Star Spangled Banner in the background going on there. As we wait for Vanny to approach the tomb here, looks like Malladroid's proceeding forward with some of the plot here. You get a bunch of rambling from Apple Kid about how he conveniently invented another plot device that will allow you to move forward called zombie paper.
And we always enjoy, after the conversation here, that the pizza guy looks like he just disappears. There's kind of a debate on whether or not he exits the door right behind you, but definitely looks to me like he just disappears afterwards.
Nah, he went out the door real quick. You saw how fast he walked up to Ness. He's got to deliver that next pizza.
I guess since it's here, we'll talk about it. That after you put the zombie paper in the tent and stay the night, all the zombies come from everywhere and get stuck on the paper in the tent. So then you can go right there where the ladder is and continue on through the game.
I believe the official plot reasoning for that at this point was this was the night for the big attack for everyone who's hiding in the circus tent.
I like what that it says in the text. Pizza Guy knows an even faster version of teleport. He doesn't have to spin.
Awesome. Oh, Vanny got the attack skip from the door there that we were talking about earlier.
And Vanny choosing to get the teddy bear as well, giving him a higher chance of Jeff surviving the first turn.
There are a couple different options when facing Boogie Tent. Ness with Rockin', Paula with Freeze or Flyer if she happens to have it at that point, and Jeff doing the BBR, the Big Bottle Rocket, or doing a combination of Defend, and the Big Bottle Rocket like we saw Malladroid use.
Oh, and that turn, Jeff got solidified, so he loses his turn. We got to try it on the second.
Better than the classic PSI Flash confusing Jeff and bottle rocketing someone in the party.
Oh, I've done that before. And Boogie Tent goes down, so it should be a 117 for Vanny. Great run by both players. I don't think either one PB'd, but both of them got close, which is very good in a race setting. So congrats to both of you guys.
Yeah, it was a very good playing by both runners here. Unfortunately, it looks like it was the slug grind that put Vanny behind and just couldn't catch up from it. I do see a question in the chat. When you are traveling on the stairs, yes, you do move slower.
All right, and that's going to be time for Vanny.
Well done, Vanny. He finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 44 seconds. And I believe that is another PB for Vanny.
Oh, it is a PB. Excellent. Yeah, that's great. Man, one runner got a PB, the other got within a minute. That's excellent in a race setting. Absolutely excellent. Yeah, make sure to follow the runners, Malladroid and Vanny. Sorry, Airframe.
Oh, no, you're good. They both put on a fantastic race. Certainly give them the follow, and that'll wrap up tonight's race on Speed Gaming 2 for the Super Series. Hunter, I'd like to thank you for coming out and joining me on commentary here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I believe in an hour and a half, we have a race with Uko and Gearless Robot. So make sure to stick around for that.
Yeah, that'll be happening at 10 p.m. on Speed Gaming 1. And then I believe Up next for Speed Gaming 2 will be a Link to the Past entrance shuffle randomizer going on starting at 9 o'clock. So feel free to join us for EarthBound or stick around for a Link to the Past on Speed Gaming 2.
Malladroid getting through the next boss of the game, the mini barf, which is totally not required for Boogie Percent, but he's just having fun. All right, so I think that's going to do it for us here. That was Aerofram. My name's Hunter RNG. Thank you guys for watching it with us. I will see you next time.
Thanks, everyone. See you around.